Rose Universe, née Quartz, the fictional character on the Cartoon Network's May She Rest in Perfection show titled Steven Universe and any affiliated media franchise, is wholeheartedly not a bad person. Or gem? Hello and welcome to Aphrodite's Soapbox, a channel where I will talk about things that matter to me. This is an honest defense of Rose Quartz. Rose Quartz is a deeply misunderstood character. She's the physical manifestation of unconditional love in the universe. Although not accredited by the American Bar Association, I refuse to dispute the morality of Rose's actions. What I will do is argue that the lens which with the fandom examines the character is inherently flawed. I readily consumed all of Steven Universe the movie, and Steven Universe Future, with the exception of the last 4 episodes. I simply refuse to exist in a reality where the show's over. I'm not a fan of goodbyes, but I am a fan of Steven Universe. Note this will contain spoilers. I'm still not over when my friend told me Prim died in 7th grade. If you didn't know Prim is dead, good, I'm bitter. I want you to think back to a moment when you have been a witness to unconditional love. According to the skinny legend Wikipedia, and don't hate on her, if everyone would stop comparing her to her sister Google, maybe she would have the confidence to stop believing strangers on the internet. According to Miss Wikipedia, unconditional love is known as affection without any limitations, or love without conditions. When someone sees all the ugliness you keep locked away and chooses, emphasis on chooses, to love you for all that you are, the light and the darkness inside of you. In order for someone to love you without limitations, it requires a certain level of self-awareness. It requires an understanding that our thoughts, actions, and words can be in misalignment with who we are on the inside. It is ultimately our choice to say and do what we believe to be right. Morality is yours to discern and act in accordance to. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. That's not my responsibility. It's yours. And that perhaps is the most terrifying part. You must love yourself before you can love others. This translates to, unless you realize it's okay for you to fuck up, you'll never really be okay with other people fucking up. And that's not fair to you, or them. There are certain people in our society where unconditional love is expected, and sometimes demanded. When these individuals cannot produce these feelings or perform love the way society expects them to, they are told they are lacking in some way. For example, parents, Rose Quartz, teachers, healthcare providers, spiritual leaders, friends, pets? Imagine that. We expect animals to love us unconditionally, and in return, we kidnap them and provide them with food and belly rubs as recompense? Well, that's just emotional servitude. Contrary to popular belief, love isn't natural. It's learned. It takes a deep examination of one's limitations and boundaries. This is easier as a child, because there are essentially no limiting beliefs and no boundaries until adults instill them in us. You must be able to convey your innermost self to another person, risking the possibility of them not being ready or willing to bare their soul to you in return. Everyone is on different levels of discovering this. Some people go their entire lives without experiencing unconditional love. Everyone has this lesson coming to them. For some, becoming a mother taught them about love. For others, it was their best friend. It is normalized in contemporary American society to prioritize romantic love over platonic and familial love. This creates a country that believes unconditional love is scarce, only to be obtained by one romantic partner. Sidebar, I believe this is propaganda to break up communities of color and secure the white nuclear family in American society. If you only care about securing one romantic partner, the love of your life, you will lose opportunities to have unconditional love with your neighbors, with your friends, with revolutionary leaders, community members, the people of Palestine, essentially cutting you off from the rest of the world. When people are isolated and alone, they can't whisper of revolution. Bust open your heart with my rainbow crowbar and experience the gifts the world has to offer. Choose love. There is more to life than a mediocre straight relationship, where all the parties involved are trying to adhere to these arbitrary standards that can never really be obtained. Know yourself so that you may know others, so that you may be in love again and again and again and again and again. Now that we know how important love is in the universe, let's get back to Miss Rose. Rose Quartz is unconditional love, something the gems do not explore on Homeworld. I think that's why Pink Diamond, aka Zaddy Rose, had such little power when it came to the diamonds as a whole. There's no need for love in a world built to destroy and colonize. Now listen carefully. Just because someone loves you unconditionally does not mean you are loving them unconditionally. There are people in this world that love themselves just as deeply as they love you. It isn't narcissistic, it isn't selfish, it is love. Have you ever met someone that was nice to you for no reason? That helped you for absolutely no reason. This is power in a world limited in love. Not that there is no love, but it is believed that there is no love. Now imagine that person is your boss, your neighbor, the cute cashier at the grocery store, and every time you're around them, they remind you that it is okay to be you. Now imagine that person is your friend. You might not necessarily know how to love them back because you're still learning to love yourself, and that's okay. But for gems like Rose Quartz, it causes people to idolize them in a way that's really dehumanizing. Again, I am not here to defend the actions of Rose Quartz. We all cry a little during that montage when Spinel's knees got ashy. A moment of silence for the Nivea never received. Rose never claimed to be perfect. She just accepted her flaws. That is what gave her the power and the capability of making those other gems feel unconditional love. This is why the gems on Earth followed Rose into battle. Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst believed in Rose Quartz because she believed in them. In Paper Towns, John Green writes, "What a treacherous thing to believe that a person is more than a person." Now this quote fractured some unknown part of my 2010 self, of my 2010 identity. Just because you believe someone is perfect and put unrealistic expectations on them, it doesn't give you the right to take it out on them when they ultimately reveal themselves to be human, perfectly imperfect. Rose Quartz was not a god. Rose Quartz was not more than a gem, just as flawed as the diamonds. Rose loved herself so much she decided she deserved to live on Earth. She wanted to protect her friends. She wanted to experience being human, so she became Steven. That is unconditional love. Any choice we make in our lives will affect other people. It is unavoidable. Sometimes we hurt people deeply. But it is about what we do after, how we apologize, how we change. We do not live in a vacuum. We are all interconnected. Rose Quartz concealed being Pink Diamond. But she wasn't Pink Diamond anymore. She left that part of herself behind. Pearl, Amethyst, and Garnet lied to Steven about the diamonds, which lies were justified. Greg wasn't a very present father in Steven's life. He didn't seem to have it all together for the most part and let the gems raise his son. The Crystal Gems' journey of raising Steven and living on Earth is how they learn to do the most human thing imaginable, to love unconditionally. Rose Quartz should not be put on a different pedestal than any other gem or diamond. Everyone loved her and expected her decisions to all be perfect, when no one's are. And that's exactly what happened in Steven Universe. They were angry at Rose for leaving, and it's okay to feel anger and sadness when someone hurts you. It's even harder when they aren't around anymore. What they didn't do was decide Rose was a horrible person. If we can't forgive Rose Quartz, how can we ever forgive ourselves? How can we ever truly love? Thank you. This is Aphrodite's Soapbox. You can follow me on all the platforms. My link tree is in the description box and in my bio. Make sure to share any comments, concerns, or complaints in the comment section below. Take a deep breath. And remember that everything's going to be okay.